Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where I'm going to be giving you my reaction, review, thoughts on episode 1 of Doctor Who Season 2, The Robot Revolution. Now, I didn't expect much from this episode. I kind of expected it would be the light and fluffy one to get us going, and that's not quite what this is. Don't get me wrong, there's most certainly moments of levity in this one, and I did have a good time watching it, but it very quickly established itself as fundamentally different from Season 1, even just from this first episode. By that I mean, okay, so the basic premise we all know. Belinda Chandra gets a star named after her by an ex-boyfriend, and then that star, all those years later, orbits a planet that is named after said star, and the robots take her as their queen. She gets abducted by them and is basically told, you're going to marry our AI generator and basically meld with him to become a kind of robot. Initially I was like, wait, surely that's a Cyberman, right? Human mixed with robot. But anyway, something I will say, I do love the robot's design, and I love the fact that their faces change. There's a really funny bit towards the beginning where Belinda's getting kidnapped, where the robots destroy a cat, and they're like, the cat is irrelevant, which was very funny. And the whole thing of, like, when she's being kidnapped, she says, tell Anne, or whatever her name was, the neighbour, that her cat went to go live on a farm. Very funny. But yeah, so they arrive on this planet, and it's obviously revealed that the Doctor has been there a while. And so the Doctor acts as the historian to the planet and basically explains to Belinda, okay, this is why you're getting married. But there's a twist. Every 9th word, the robots who are forcing her into this royalness and marriage cannot hear what they're saying. So therefore, they kind of sound out each word, and so the 9th word is what they're actually feeling, which is a very, very unique sort of idea and a very unique way of kind of having the robots have a weakness, which I really liked. So anyway, the Doctor gives a secret encoded message to Belinda to basically say the rebel attack is now. He summons the rebels come in, there's a huge fight sequence in the throne room, and the Doctor has a friend, Sasha 55, who passes away. Now, this is kind of an ongoing thread throughout this episode, the fact that the Doctor became really close friends with this Sasha 55 off screen, and he really feels for the loss of her. And whilst I appreciated that there was something for the Doctor to be sad about beyond just like, you know, Last of the Time Lords related stuff, I still did think that the connection to Sasha 55 would have been better served if she had slightly more screen time. Because in my reaction, which you'll see at some point after this, I literally say, well, she's going to die, as soon as she says, well, thank you for saving us, Doctor, I can't wait to see the stars with you. I was like, oh yeah, she's going to die. And she does. She dies almost immediately after that. And I think that while I liked that the Doctor, you know, had to make that sacrifice, and yes, he does cry, but again, in this case, if you've been friends with someone for 6 months, kind of feels justified, but I just kind of wish we knew a bit more about her before that happened. But anyway, so that happens, the rebels all sort of take Belinda to their base, and some of the rebels blame her. They're like, oh, well, our friend Sasha died because we were saving you. The Doctor says otherwise. We get to see Belinda actually be a nurse as well, which is something I really liked. She sort of corrects someone's, I think she got like a pulled muscle or something like that. She corrects it. Very, very good. I liked seeing this character, and I liked how she wasn't willing to stand for stuff, but also, like, it felt perfectly natural. Like, I loved when the Doctor said, oh, timey-wimey, and she's like, am I 6? Like, that was very good. That was very good. So after that, Belinda realises that it's her fault that the robots are attacking the rebels. So she decides to activate the cleaning robot, which, by the way, is adorable, in order so that they can be captured by the robots and sent to the AI generator, because she thinks, if I go and sacrifice myself, they'll leave the people alone. And now here is where I have to get into the actual spoilers of this, because up to now, this is a pretty, you know, basic plot synopsis and summary. We get it revealed that the AI generator was not in fact an AI generator at all, but in fact the very same boyfriend that she was with 17 years ago. And it's revealed that across the episode we've had these weird, like, time, like, fissions, and essentially, you know, time is going all weird, and something is up with time, obviously. And so at a point in the story where Belinda is first being abducted, she says, go and get Alan Barnes, her boyfriend, go and get him, he's the one you need, he's the one who bought the star. And so they do, but because of the time fracture, they get him 10 years before they arrive, and he becomes basically their robot overlord, and decides to basically treat the whole thing as a video game and basically just take complete control over the society. Because it turns out he's a very controlling man, and they do have the joke line in there, Planet of the Incels, which I know some people will probably like roll their eyes at, but to me, honestly, that rang pretty true for me. The idea that there would be some guy who was just terrible, who would just treat this whole thing as like a game and would want to control all of it, to me rang pretty true, and I thought as a villain he was pretty effective. I also loved the visual of him inside the AI generator with his like half robot body. I thought that was really, really cool. I thought the makeup was fantastic there. This episode looks visually fantastic as well. But what they do is they reveal that the certificate that she has for the star exists at 2 separate points. So by placing them together, time travel rules, time explodes. It's like, oh, you can't do that. And so we get this really, really cool visual sequence of time collapsing, and the Doctor pings through all the life of Belinda and of her boyfriend and yanks her back out before she can be disintegrated into atoms, because, he's a Time Lord, he could do that sort of thing. And so they do, and of course the evil robot guy is dead, and now the robots and humans can live in peace together. Now, what's really interesting about this, and what I loved, was the end sequence where the Doctor is trying to take Belinda home, but of course, because she is not willing to be on these adventures, she's like, get me home, I don't want to carry on with you. And he's like, oh, but there's all this stuff going on, it's destiny, something really important's happening, which is, what he said to Ruby in season 1. This time, though, she's like, I'm not one of your adventures, which I loved, because it was a direct contrast to last year, but also a direct contrast to things we've seen before, like Clara Oswald, where the Doctor does treat like a companion like a mystery to solve in a way. So to have a companion be like, no, I don't want that, was really, really interesting. And I also thought it was notable that she knew the name of the TARDIS before she went inside. Now, I don't know whether they said the word TARDIS prior to this. I don't believe they did. But maybe my thinking was she knew it was the TARDIS on the basis that, there's something going on with time, and she knows things. Obviously, they make the Monday Flynn connection, he met her direct ancestor, or I guess descendant, and obviously it's revealed that she has the exact same face. But he does eventually concede and try and bring her home, but because of the time fractures, everything goes wrong. He keeps trying to bring her back, and it gets revealed essentially that something is pulling them away from Earth. And so the Doctor's like, this might be the long way around. But then the final shot is just complete chaos. There's a shot of basically a taxi, the Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower, all this stuff kind of floating in space debris. The implication, of course, being that Earth is either gone or in disrepute. And I think this is one of the best cliffhangers we've had in a while. I really, really liked it as a cliffhanger. This episode was genuinely really good. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this quite as much as I did. I was kind of expecting, sort of similar to last year, this to be kind of the obligatory, okay, this is the fun light one before we get into the serious stuff. This was genuinely a really enjoyable episode. It had very classic Doctor Who vibes. Speaking of classic Doctor Who vibes, actually, the music was very, very good. Very classic Who-esque. Murray Gold once again knocks out the park. Really shows his variety as a composer, I think, because a lot of this felt very kind of 80s in particular, which I really liked. This whole story feels like it could be in the 80s, and I mean that in a good way, genuinely. It was fast, it was clever, it was funny. Ncuti Gatwa was on top form. I think you can tell at this point that he's more settled in the role, and I thought that he really did work. Obviously, it's not a decidedly different characterization as last year, so if you weren't a fan of the 15th Doctor last year, then, it might not work for you. But for someone who was, relatively speaking, a fan of the Doctor last series, despite having some issues, I thought Ncuti Gatwa gave a really good performance. But I do think the standout, as a lot of the tabloids were saying prior to the release of this, is Varada Sethu, is Belinda Chandra. I think that she is one of the most refreshing companions we've had in a while. The idea of this person who doesn't believe in destiny, which is such an RTD trope, the idea of the companion who is destined to be with the Doctor through some kind of magical coincidence, but kind of rejects that idea, I found personally very refreshing. I love that she did sacrifice herself. It shows that she's got, moral convictions and she wants to do the right thing for people, but also she's very forthright in what she wants. And she's not going to be easily swayed by anyone, including the Doctor. And she kind of looks at the Doctor and goes, hang on, you're dangerous. Your best friend died, and now you want to do that with me, which was actually a really good character beat. Even though, as I said before, I do wish that we knew Sasha a bit more for that emotional weight to hit a bit harder. I do think the fact that she saw a friend of the Doctor die on this adventure really gave her a reason to be hesitant to just follow along with this stuff. And as I've said before, I really hope that persists throughout the series, because that is obviously the thing that's most exciting me about this series, and the thing that feels most refreshing and most different. Just him trying to do the whole, I'm a charming spaceman thing, and she's like, is that what you say to all the girls? It's just not working on her. I really, really liked. One thing I will say that was a little bit dumb is that the reveal is that it's not an AI generator, it's Al generator, because it's Alan Barnes. For some reason, this era has a really bizarre dynamic with anagrams. I don't know what it is. There's something about them that's just really weird with this era, with the whole thing with Susan Triad being Sutak last year, and now this. It's a really weird thing, and did it happen in the last era? I don't think it did, but yeah, I don't really know. That's a weird thing. But I will say, I wanted to expand on this. Obviously, this whole thing of him being an incel, whatever, him being this gamer guy who kind of wants to control women. I saw a lot of the tabloids, particularly I saw the Telegraph kind of say that was really very preachy. But honestly, I didn't really get that vibe at all. I mean, it's very obvious what it is, and they don't sugarcoat it, and it's quite blatant in that's who this guy is. But also, there are men that are just kind of like that, and it sucks that there are, but I don't think it's preachy to acknowledge that. I remember them sort of saying that there was a lot of political stuff to this, but I genuinely didn't really get that vibe at all. Obviously, even the AI thing, it's actually revealed that he's the one behind it, which I also saw some places say that the story doesn't land, but actually, I thought that was a good twist, and a twist that made sense in the context of the story that they were telling. And it also makes sense because I did think, why would an AI want to marry someone? That's a very human desire that an AI wouldn't have, but that makes a lot more sense when you realise that, oh, he proposed to her before and she said no. That makes way more sense to me. I genuinely really enjoyed this one. Maybe that there'll be some things that I've not noticed that were issues, but on the whole, I thought it was a much, much, much stronger opener than Space Babies last year. And it makes me wonder the position we'd be in if this was what we opened with last year. Because I do think it's just a much stronger statement piece of this is what Doctor Who is and can be with this budget. Visually, it looks fantastic. The scenes of the warring planet look so good. Yeah, I genuinely really enjoyed this one, and it sets up a compelling, interesting mystery arc that didn't feel forced in. This whole time fracture business, I really, really like. It reminded me of that one event thing that they used to have back in London, funny enough. Speaking of arc stuff, I may as well mention Mrs. Flood. There's not much to say. It's revealed that she is the neighbour of Verada. We'd basically already seen this scene via promo beforehand, so that's probably why I didn't mention it up to now. But basically, she waves off Belinda. I do really like when she goes, bye-bye! She just does not care one jot. And then the reveal of, you didn't see me, oh, I've not been here. I am really curious as to who she is. I just hope that they don't fumble that landing, because if they give her a good reveal, and they give this whole time fracture business a good resolution, this is a really strong start to the series, I think. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you hate this episode? Whatever your thoughts are, drop them down in the comments below. As always, be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.